What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Moose Milk Podcast. This is episode 126. 126.
Damn, son.
We're old. I'm Ryan. This is Matthew.
Hi.
At Customs by
I'm
Matthew.
here.
He's here. He's looking better than ever.
Am I?
Yeah, I think so, personally.
Thank you. I always think I look best when I'm with no sleep. And
I think you look best when you're very, very sweaty, and I've been saying this for years.
been campaigning this for many years.
That's exactly what I was going for. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm tired.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I'm okay. I'm just working on my Secret Santa today. I finally got a chance to start, even though check-in is in 2 weeks. But yeah, haven't had a chance to start because I've been busy and just trying to finish up commissions. And
Fair.
Yeah.
Work.
Got the studio started finally.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
Which is very exciting for me.
Very exciting. It's just a dirt patch right now, but
just a dug up ground right now. A bunch of tree branches or roots sticking out of it.
Yeah, well, you got to get rid of those tree branches.
Yep.
Don't want them growing through your studio.
Nope.
Or maybe you do. I mean, I'm not judging you. Maybe that's part of your motif is you want
I'm going for the Groot look. Yeah.
Groot studio. There you go. There's the studio name, Groot Studio.
Groot Penis Studio.
Yeah. Well, I just could come up with every dick pun I could possibly think of, and that's your studio name. I mean,
that's fair.
Yeah. Fair. I mean, what else am I gonna do?
Throbbing Penis Studio.
We'll come up with something. Anybody listening that has a great name for Matt's future studio that's more clever than anything I could come up with, just DM him. You know.
And if you don't, we're gonna go with one of his famous Miss Cleo comments.
You're a Libra, aren't you, darling? Studio.
Yeah.
Anybody that doesn't know Miss Cleo or anything like that, way back. I mean, this is a super inside baseball story, but there used to be a soundboard of Miss Cleo quotes, who was a call-in psychic, basically, that I'm pretty sure was a scam artist at some point too.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
But yeah, you could call in and she'd give you your psychic reading or whatever. But anyway, there used to be a website, maybe it still exists, I don't know, called eBombs World, that had all these prank soundboards, and me and my friends used to go through them and think they were hilarious or whatever. But if you go to YouTube and search, I think it's the very first one, Are You a Libra? You're a Libra, aren't you, darling? It's some guy prank calling somebody using the Miss Cleo soundboard, and for some reason it's just so funny. I don't know why, but yeah, that soundboard made me and my friends laugh hysterically for 5 years probably. We still quote it from time to time. So
I think people don't actually know what Miss Cleo is, because when I posted that story of ours last week that used the Miss Cleo image, somebody messaged me and said, ha ha ha, and I said, call me now, and they replied with a bunch of question marks, why would I call you? No, that's from
it's I don't think anybody knows Miss Cleo that's under the age of 35 probably, but
you're a Libra, aren't you, darling?
That was one of her quotes on the soundboard. So yeah. that's Miss Cleo. Start a Miss Cleo podcast.
Cleo.
Cleo. What did you watch this week?
How are you? Sorry, I didn't ask you. How are you?
I'm all right. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a busy week, and I've been sleeping a lot. I've been really tired. I don't know what's going on with me, but just been really burnt out. So I wasn't feeling great on Tuesday. I got a really bad migraine, and I don't know if that just set me off the rest of the week, or I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me, but I've been just very burnt out. So maybe it's a season change. Maybe it's fucking just me. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, same old. I mean,
maybe it's your love for Taylor Swift.
Oh, fuck. I was just telling Matt before we started, my beef last week with Joe Rogan is over. My new beef is with Taylor Swift. I can't fucking stand the woman, and I know nothing about her. It's not personal. I don't know her music. I don't know anything about her other than she's a woman that is extremely popular, but she's invaded every media thing I enjoy. She's now dating a football player. Now I have to hear it on football podcasts. Fucking every time I listen to anything, they're talking about her tour right now and how it's the most popular tour ever, and then movies had to get moved because she's putting out some kind of live concert thing in theaters, and so
Yeah, she
people
is.
were afraid that she's gonna steal all their money from theatrical releases, so they moved all the movies. And it's like, just just go away, just go be a musician. Don't I don't care what you do, like it's not personal. Just
She's
leave
getting it all,
my
man.
shit alone. Like, I don't want to hear about you. I don't like you. I don't want to know you. I don't want you invading everything I
Oh, you
like.
want
Just
to know her.
people that like her, enjoy her. I don't like her.
You want to know her. Trust me.
I don't find her remotely intriguing. I don't know her music. It could be great. I'm never going to give her the time of day. It's just not for me. I couldn't name you one song by her. I couldn't name you an album. I don't know
Sometimes,
anything about
but
her.
I don't know a lot, but I know enough. I don't like dislike her or anything, but she's just really popular. That's what I
Yeah,
said to Ryan before we started. She's so hot right now.
yeah, but like, I
Everyone
just
loves her,
I don't know why. I
especially
don't
Ryan.
just fucking like better music. Just there's more music out there than Taylor Swift. Like, I'm just sick of hearing about her. Like,
Wrong, wrong.
there's so much music out, and this year for sure, like so many albums have come out. Like, just get off the Taylor Swift train. Fucking explore fucking indie music and like artists that actually need your money, not her who's already a fucking mega millionaire. Anyway,
She's writing the hits, dog. She's writing the
is
hits.
she writing her hits or is somebody writing them all for her?
I think she writes a lot of them, but I think she writes with Jack a lot from Steel Train.
Yeah, I saw that Jack wrote for her or something. I don't know. But
Yeah, I think he writes a good amount with her. For sure.
whatever. I'm sure she's very talented in whatever way she needs to be talented, singing or whatever. But like, just go away. Just stop invading everything I like. End of rant.
Soon, she's going to win the Super Bowl by herself.
That's fine. Just I won't be watching.
Yeah, you will.
I won't. I
You'll be
honestly,
intrigued. You're
Super
gonna
Bowl's
hope that
my least favorite game of the year anyway, so it doesn't really
it's
fucking
because
matter.
your team is never in it, right?
No, it has nothing to do with that. My team will never be in it. That's fine. I can't stand how drawn out it is. The halftime show is obnoxious as shit because it's always a musician I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't cater to your style of music very much.
No, and I don't like. I know I'm in the minority probably, but like to me, it's like, why wouldn't you pick some music that like football fans like instead of like catering to, I don't know,
Because it's
like
the one time of the year where people who don't watch football watch football.
yeah, but fuck
That's
them.
why.
Stop being a
That's why they
bandwagon
do it.
jumper and watching football during the season when it actually matters.
Play some foosball.
Anyway, no, I have no expectation the Texans will ever be in the Super Bowl. Like, honestly, I wish they would be. That'd be great. That'd be fun. But my team's probably not even going to make the playoffs in the next 3 years. So, it is what it is.
That's
I'll
what
watch every game.
happens.
They're going to be bad. It's fine.
That's what happens when you're Texas.
Yeah. Well, there's no Canadian football teams. So, well,
That's
NFL
because they're
teams.
all in the CFL.
Yeah. Well, there's tons of rumors for a long time that the CFL and the NFL would merge and there would be like a Canadian division and an American division, basically. But I don't think that will ever happen now. Anyway,
It'd
I
be
don't
a
know what
kind
the
of a
show's even
different
about.
game though, right? Because
Well,
like
they'd have to change
they're
rules.
pretty different. Yeah, they're pretty different from each
Yeah,
other.
CFL only has 3 downs, and I know they have a lot of different rules, but you'd have to.
That could
You'd
like
have to.
totally change the dynamic of their game, right? Like
Yeah, I
you're good
assume
in
the
that.
CFL would follow the NFL rules,
Yeah, of
and
course.
like they would just merge into the NFL. I mean, I like the NFL wants to expand to Europe eventually and have teams in Europe, and it's
Crazy.
going to be a whole thing. So I think we should have a team at least in the NFL, like a Toronto team or whatever, and I would probably like cheer for them, like
The Toronto
secondary. Yeah,
footballers,
whatever. Toronto, whatever you want to call them.
Maple Leafs.
No, I think that's taken. Anyway, what the fuck you been doing this week? What have you been watching? We're 10 minutes into this, and we've just talked about absolute
We're just
nonsense.
fucking around. It's
Yeah,
okay. It doesn't. It's all good. I didn't really get into that much this week.
me either.
I watched Ahsoka twice. I watched my new episode of Reservation Dogs.
Naturally.
Still pretty funny.
Good.
And then I watched another episode of Only Murders in the Building, which is getting less funny every week.
That's disappointing for
As
you.
I said last week, I feel
Yeah.
like Kate is on her way out, and after watching one this week, and she was on her phone the whole time, I'm guessing she is officially out. So
Well,
that conversation may be getting less and lessened as we move through these next few weeks because if she's not motivating me to watch it, I'm probably not going to. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard when you watch shit together, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I can watch whatever I want, and that's kind of the joy of living alone. But,
I mean, I could still watch it too, but I just don't when
well, you have the
it's just
attention span of a fucking carrot, so
not entirely wrong.
like I think it's hard. Like you'd rather just do other things for the most part, like
I
instead of
would,
watching shit. Yeah, so
I would.
yeah, I realize that.
But
Yeah,
I
no, that's a
also
bummer
watched
that your
Barbie
show sucks.
again.
What?
I also watched Barbie again.
Yeah, yeah. So, wow, I could have watched it. I chose not to, but
Kate's wanted to watch it with her parents, so I went and watched it with them.
fair.
It's funny, made me laugh again.
Probably will never
Got
get
me
to it,
again.
but I just have absolutely zero interest in watching it. But
It's fair. I feel
maybe,
like you wouldn't like it, but
yeah, probably not. I have a feeling I wouldn't like it very much. Um, but maybe I don't know. Who knows? Maybe one day it'll be on and I'll watch it and I'll like it. Who knows? I mean, I saw it's
I like
available, so
what's his
digital.
name? Ryan Gosling as Ken is very funny.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a huge Gosling fan, but like he's fine.
Me neither, but yeah,
And Margot Robbie's
that's it.
cool, but
Yeah, Margot Robbie's fun.
she's pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's lots of good jokes too. There's even a Schneider cut joke in it, which is very funny.
Everything should be director's cuts now, apparently. Like fucking that Suicide Squad, David Ayer. It's like, oh, there's a David Ayer cut. I'm like, we don't need that. The movie sucked.
Like, how come we're picking all these horrible movies and giving them director's cuts?
I don't know. Why are fans clamoring for it?
It's so crazy when I see like people being talking about how the Snyderverse it was like the best thing that the Warner Brothers has ever put out. It's fucking crazy. That fan group base is crazy.
I think they're so desperate for good movies, and there's always been that like DC versus Marvel thing that even if the movie like they know the movies are bad, they're always gonna be on that side of like, well, fuck, Marvel's popular, so we're just gonna want to tear it down and say DC's better. And like no matter what these movies do, like there's gonna be a fan of them. Like
But
I've
they're
seen a couple
comparing them to other DC movies and they're like shit talking it, right? Like
yeah.
they're like, oh, they're moving away from the Snyderverse in favor of James Gunn's thing and blah blah blah. What
Yeah,
are they
but
doing? So
I think that's
stupid.
also too because James Gunn was a Marvel guy, and like I think they just have that built up hatred of like we don't want to Marvelize our DC
Yeah,
universe,
that's fair.
like we don't want the Marvel. I don't think James Gunn is gonna Marvelize DC in any way. Like I think James Gunn was like Disneyified. Like I think they tampered him down of like what his sense of humor is and like what he wants to do. Like I think Guardians, if it was like its own separate thing that Disney was not involved in, would have been way more like of a rated R like thing. But I
Yeah.
think Disney pushed him to make sure it was like, as tame as it could possibly be.
Hmm.
Um I think like I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of what DC does is like more adult oriented. Like I think James Gunn wants it to be like the adult version of the DC
Darker.
universe, but darker, not necessarily darker for like in like comedy or like violence, but just like a more grown up theme and more grown up like stories. Like um I could see I don't know, Superman might be aimed at everybody, but I could see it being like not like R, but like, like not a PG film either.
Yeah, yeah.
But who knows? I mean, I think those movies are so far off, especially now. Like,
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me if those all get pushed to like 2026. Like, it's
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's years away.
Yeah, for sure.
But
For
no,
sure.
I don't get it either, man. Like, there's a couple podcasts I listen to where like they have like one person in the team of the podcasters that like totally love the DC universe and totally love Zack Snyder's like vision and everything like that. And I'm like, I don't get it. I'll never understand it. Out of all the DCEU, there's like 3 movies that are like solid. and the rest is pretty trash.
Yeah.
But
From what I've seen of it, I'll agree with that.
I would say Man of Steel, the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie, and
Yep.
the first Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
And there's a couple movies that are fine throughout that. Like the first,
Aquaman.
it was fine. I don't know. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. Like it was.
Yeah.
I've
I
only
don't
watched.
remember liking it that much, but
Yeah, it was fine. I was thinking more. What the fuck you call it? That they just put the second one out. That was really not very good.
oh, Shazam.
Shazam. The first Shazam was like a fun,
Yeah, it
solid
was
movie.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It was like a solid 7, but the Shazam 2 was pretty weak. Black
Yeah.
Adam sucked. Wonder Woman 2 was terrible. Justice League was terrible. The
Yep.
Flash was mediocre.
Yeah, I still never saw The Flash.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I said, I mean, Michael Keaton's part is the best part in the movie.
Yeah.
Like my friend Chris just watched it like last week, and he was pretty disappointed by it too. But he's like, Michael Keaton fucking is awesome in it, and I'm like, yeah, that's the best part of the movie. Like the 45 minutes he's like really a main character
Yeah,
in the
part of
movie
it.
is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Whatever, it is what it is. What did I watch this week? I'm still watching all my reality shows as always. I mean, The Block and Amazing Race and fuck. What else do I got? Oh, Challenge USA. But I didn't watch too much, honestly. Like I said, I just haven't really been in the mood, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me, but
Are you playing your game?
yeah, so I played like probably 15 hours of Starfield this week. I'm gonna play some more tonight. I didn't have a lot of time this week, so I'm like, I don't know, about 35, 40 hours in. It's still fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It'll probably be 100-hour game, but I still got about a month before I got Spider-Man 2 coming out. So I'll probably toil away at it for the next month or so and end up around 100 hours and call it quits. But
Nice.
yeah, not too bad. I just watched the movie Smile. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
It's like a horror mystery movie from 2022. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it without giving it away, but like the basic premise is basically like this psychologist comes into the office and like she has this like patient or whatever that says like something's like following her basically, and she just seems like a crazy person, and then she like kills herself, like suicides in front of her, and all of a sudden like whatever was following her is now like following the psychologist basically. It's kind of like Ring-esque, like if you remember the Ring from like 2002. It's kind of got that same like kind of like creepy vibe, but I don't know. She basically is trying to figure out like what's going on with her or whatever, and so there's a little bit of like the detective mystery vibe going on. But I don't know. It was good. It was solid. It was creepy, and I enjoyed it. So I recommend that.
Nice.
Yeah, I watched another documentary from that I was talking about a few weeks ago from Double Fine, the video game developer, about a game called Broken Age. It's like the documentary they did first before the one I watched a couple weeks ago. I've been watching that over the last couple weeks, but I just finished it, so it's like 20 episodes.
Nice.
It's probably like 10 hours total, but it's solid. Again, if you're interested in video games and how they're made, it's fairly interesting. It's like I was talking like a month ago how like that inside baseball thing of like how albums are made or how movies are made, and how I'd like more of that. This is very similar to that type of deal. So
cool.
And then
it's
music.
Fun when you get stuff like that behind the scenes, and
yeah, totally. I like the behind the scenes stuff and how
me too.
creatives like design things, and video games for sure is like such a team effort of like you need artists, you need programmers, you need all the effects people, you need writers, you need actors, you need, like there's so many different things that come into it that it's intriguing to me. So new music, I want to shout out one of my favorite bands from Canada, The Beaches, just put out their new album called Blame My Ex. Came out on Friday. Really catchy, kind of like indie rock, pop rock. I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but all female bands. This is their like second album, but they have a lot, like 4 EPs that they've released in between albums and before their first album. But highly recommend it. Very catchy music. And K Flay, who's like I don't know, rock rap, not in like a Limp Bizkit style, but like some of her songs are very rocky and some of her songs are more like rap orientated. But she just put out her, I think, fourth album called Mono. She went actually, I mean, this is a random side story, but like normal like chick, whatever, and then she woke up one morning and she was completely deaf in one side of her like one ear.
Wow, that
This just
sucks.
like happened like I don't know, like a year ago basically, and she had no idea like what the fuck happened. And she went to a bunch of doctors and they're like, "Yeah, you're just deaf in that ear now."
Whoa, damn, that sucks.
So she had to like relearn like how to walk and like stuff like that because her balance was all off because that
Yeah,
ear,
yeah.
and like she had like what do you call it, vertigo and stuff like that, like standing up, and so she had to relearn
Damn,
how to
man.
do like a bunch of shit. But so yeah, this is her first album since like kind of going deaf in one ear, but like uh that's why it's called Mono. But
Interesting.
yeah, she's really talented. I seen her live and I seen the Beaches live. They're both really really good live, so I highly recommend both. And we'll probably get Blink 182 news, I would assume Monday, right? If they're supposed to have an album next week.
Yeah, I think new album comes out on Friday next week or Thursday or
Is it
something.
like
21st.
for sure, or like is this a single drop
I
that could be
think
the next Friday?
so. And I think it's supposed to be the album, but maybe it's the single. I don't know.
Like
I guess
I
they
look,
haven't really specified.
yeah, I haven't really seen anything. Like I expected the new single to drop yesterday, and um
I think
yeah,
it's new album, but I might be wrong. Maybe I'm
I tried to look around to see if like anything got officially announced, and it's still they're just doing their like
still just guessing.
stupid bathroom stall
Yeah,
shit that they're doing on their website. Like I know they want to be like clever and funny and whatever, but like some of that shit like just fucking annoys me. It's just like just tell us what's going on. Like just give us the fucking. I don't want to hunt around and figure out when you want to put this shit out. Like just fucking tell me new album's coming out 9/21. Great,
thing
perfect.
is when it comes out, it'll come like we all know, right? So
Yeah, I guess, but like I don't know. Like just tell me the new album's called this. It's gonna be out this date. Great. I have a feeling it's gonna be a single, and then they're gonna say the album release is like October or something, or in a few weeks. But who knows? I have a feeling
oh
it's gonna be a
shit,
single, and then they're gonna say the album. Now I'm
you
echoing.
heard? Yeah, it was because I had my YouTube open because I was taking the link. I was gonna look up. I was gonna look up Blink-182, the name again.
I don't know. I saw they had like three song names drop or something like that. I was intrigued by Anthem Part 3. I was like, ooh, that's intriguing. But
I like when they do shit like that.
yeah, well, just such a callback to Anima and Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. But
Totally.
yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. I would love if that album came out next Friday and it was awesome and it was really catchy and I had
Yeah, I hope they do.
a great fall/winter album to like jam to for the next few months. But
Mhm.
other than that, I'm out of stuff to talk about. I love that Beaches album, and I've been listening to it nonstop. Like it's very catchy. First four
Nice,
songs on it are really really good. There's a couple duds, but first four songs are really catchy.
nice.
Yeah. So other than that,
Great
tomorrow I'll be
success.
watching 9 hours of football, and tonight I'll probably play Starfield for 5 or 6 hours before I go to bed. And
Tone.
that's home. But yeah, Ahsoka.
Ahsoka.
Throw up those spoilers.
Yeah, let's do it.
I got it.
All right. All out.
I'll let you start if you want.
So yeah, episode 5, Ahsoka.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, and yeah, I mean, I still love it. It's fucking so damn good. God damn.
I disagree.
I don't know when you messaged me and said that you didn't like it, and then I watched it after, I'm like, how? How did you not like this?
That was the worst episode of the series by far.
Okay.
It was so boring.
Not at all. Last week you said you wanted to see more Clone Wars stuff in live action, and we got to see it. Like,
it was exactly what I don't want, though. It was like, okay, so I'm gonna say the B story was completely boring. The whole planet looking for Ahsoka. Okay, they're driving jets around. They still can't find her. Talking to their kid, Jason or whatever. Oh, I sense her out there. All right, bring the jets back. It was like such a waste of time. I'm like, this could have completely been left out of the show. It would have.
Yeah, I totally disagree.
It's completely boring, completely nonsensical. It didn't matter. It didn't help or didn't didn't move the plot along in any way except for them finally finding Ahsoka at the end. And I'm like,
It absolutely moved the plot along. It's showing that Jason's force sensitive.
yeah, you could have done that in one scene. You didn't need it to drag out for fucking 35 minutes.
Nah, I mean,
this episode literally could have been
own.
watched in 25 minutes. It could have been a 25-minute episode.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy that you feel that way.
I would have
so good.
I just
Honestly,
rewatched it
was
before
so
we
good.
started this, and I just skipped through like probably 60% of the episode. I could watch it in 20 minutes.
Like, I'm not saying I don't have, like, I do have, you know, like not positive things to say about the series as a whole. Like certain things, but I'd say as a whole, it's rocking. And honestly, I think this last episode was fucking amazing. Oh my god, getting to see live action Clone Wars, getting to see live action.
But you didn't get to see anything.
Yeah, you got to see enough of what. Yeah,
that should have been the episode to me. This whole thing should have been all of that. I would have left the last 3 minutes. I would have done the Jason force sensitive. Oh, I sense Ahsoka out floating in the water. Jet comes down, picks her up. They fuck off, and that's the end of the episode. Like that should have been a 3-minute scene at the end of the episode. To me, the rest of the episode should have been all Anakin, Ahsoka, their dynamic lightsaber battles, Clone War stuff, getting cool like scenes in the Clone Wars instead of like half of it being fog and dreamlike. And like I was just like, what a missed opportunity. Anakin never being Vader and fighting her as Vader, completely missed opportunity.
Yeah, he was flashing in and out of Vader there though.
Well, you saw like a snippet of him dressed as Vader, but it wasn't like he wasn't Vader. I wanted to see Vader fighting her. Like that's what I wanted out of this episode.
Doesn't have history with Vader. That's the thing, though.
Yeah, I know, but that would have sold the whole idea of like him teaching her like to avoid the dark side and like trust your instincts, and like that was the whole moral of the story, was like you have things to learn still, and like don't follow that path of hatred, and like live and enjoy life, and don't give in and all that kind of stuff. And like that to me would have sold it way more as like him as Vader, her having to fight him off, and like it would have been so much cooler. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have had an issue if there was a Vader and Ahsoka fight, but I mean, as it was, I thought it was pretty great. So
I like their saber battles. Like that was the best part of the episode to me, was like
saber battles were very good,
seeing them fight. But like I just thought it was just like such a wasted chance at like really showing off like an awesome live action fucking Clone Wars thing, a really cool Darth Vader scene with them fighting. Like it would have really called back to again like the Darth Maul battle in episode 1 with like the strip lighting of like the bridges or whatever, like the light bridges or whatever. Like that was kind of what like this World Between Worlds place kind of reminded me of. And like yeah, I would have took that way more advantage of that and done really cool scenes in there. And I just think it was just such a wasted opportunity. If I would have paid money to go see this in theaters, I would have fucking asked for my money back.
Jeez, you're like the one person who doesn't like it.
Oh, I know. I know I'm in the minority. Like IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. Like
yeah, it's like it's so universally being like fucking like gushed over.
I don't get why. Like to me, it was just like
I do. It was fucking amazing. It was the visualization of a bunch of cartoon stuff that everyone loves.
Yeah, but I don't have any relation to that. So
yeah, but still, it's still cool to see, even if you don't have attachment to like why it's happening. It's still cool to see.
Yeah,
you get to see war. You get to see a bunch of clones going into battle. You get to see young Ahsoka and Anakin. Got to see Siege of Mandalore live action, very cool. All those Darth Maul fucking Mandalorian troopers. It's fucking cool, man. Super cool. And
I wish I would have loved it
a little bit with like him, kind of like saying like, oh, if you're not my friend or you're my enemy or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's fucking great. It was so good. And Hayden Christensen was great. I was a little worried about having Hayden and Rosario Dawson kind of interact, because we don't really have any history with those two, even though the characters have it. They don't really have it because
I thought they had zero chemistry.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I
I
thought
mean,
the chemistry came from the young Ahsoka and Hayden Christensen to me. Like that's where I felt like the actor there had way more chemistry with him. I thought Rosario Dawson and him had zero chemistry. I thought they did great lightsaber battles and it was choreographed well, but I didn't feel like any like love or like appreciation or like companionship there at all. Like I just thought it was very, I don't know. I just the episode overall did nothing for me.
disagree.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I know I'm in the minority, and that's fine. Like I just think there's so many missed opportunities during it, and like me having no appreciation for the Clone Wars cartoon or any of that. Like I don't care. I have no attachment to Ahsoka's relationship with Anakin, and like the cool thing I wanted to see was like them fighting and like Darth Vader come back and like you get Anakin or Hayden Christensen back as Anakin, but you don't put him in a fucking Vader costume. It's just like mind-boggling to me.
I mean, it shouldn't be because really he doesn't really have again any history of being Vader. Really, like until Obi-Wan. Really, that was the only time he's ever really been Vader.
Sure, but
like he should feel more natural as Hayden Christensen as Anakin than Vader because he was never Vader.
I understand that, but like explore that. It's just I don't know. I wish they would have done way more, and I don't get the whale thing, the Pinocchio whale thing.
Kurgils, they're gonna travel into another galaxy. Hopefully, bring them to the right place.
I get what they're trying to achieve, but like that scene didn't need to be 20 minutes long.
Was it 20?
It was literally the end of the episode. It was like the last 15 minutes of the episode.
Nah, I mean it's I thought it was pretty amazing. I don't want to. I don't even dare say that it is the best episode of any Star Wars show that's been on Disney Plus, but I'm actually at that point where I'm saying that because really scratched so many fucking itches for me. So wish we could have gotten some resolution on Sabine, but I mean I guess that'll come.
That was the other thing
episode.
I would say is like again, I would have way rather them explore what's going on with Sabine than explore Jason and what's her face standing on a fucking planet.
The thing is this episode moved Jason's story forward and making it so he is a Jedi. I'm guessing that he is probably going to play some kind of an important part as we move along.
I assume,
especially being Force sensitive.
I assume he's going to get trained as like by somebody. I don't know if
it also
will do that or what, but
it also moves Ahsoka's story forward a lot too, right? Because now she'll be Ahsoka the White or whatever, and it's like she'll be so now her character is now like
she's got
that next stage of whatever.
She's not as like I don't know what you would say like in turmoil or something like mentally about where she lies force wise or whatever. Like she's on the good side and she's at peace with that, and like I like that resolution. Like I think that was cool to get her to that point where like she knows where she is and she's like more in tune with the force, and like her just holding the map thing and like being able to feel everything that happened there and everything like that. Like I thought that was cool, but like I would have I wanted to see what happened with Sabine and everything like that, and like I assume that will be the entire next episode. But
that'll be the whole second arc of this now, right? Because we still have 3 more episodes, so so I'm guessing next episode will be Thrawn and Ezra, and then
again, I just hope it's not drawn out till it's the last episode and they find Ezra and Thrawn. Like
me too. I hope we get to spend I hope we get to spend a bit of time at least with them.
But I don't know. I just think it should have done way more. I was bummed. I was really looking forward to it, and I would give it like a 5 out of 10.
Jesus,
I think it was a pretty low tier episode. I wouldn't put it in anywhere near like my favorite Star Wars episode and things. Like it's on par with the worst of the TV shows, in my opinion.
Damn.
Yeah. Sorry.
I am the opposite, 100%. I think it was, if not the best, one of the best, but it might be the best.
I would put it like with Book of Boba Fett and like just a waste. But
I'm not there with you, dog. Also, we got to see Ahsoka's naked head. That was weird.
naked head, I don't remember that.
She didn't have her thing on.
Well, I don't know if I seen that. I don't know if I noticed that.
It was when she was like on the ship after she woke up once they found
Oh,
her.
okay, yeah.
She didn't have her headpiece on, and it was just her like naked forehead blending into her white hair
Tails
thing. Yeah.
I don't know what those are. Like, I don't know if I asked you
I
this
can't
or
remember
not.
what they're called. I don't know what they're called. I can't
Like,
remember what they're called.
are they
Goatees
part of
or
her head? Are
mouthpieces?
they hair? Are they like
Yeah,
decoration?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know
I
either.
think that's just part of her head.
I was curious to that, but I don't know if like I don't know. I thought maybe it
Her
was just
head
a dumb
tails.
question. Yeah, like I don't know. I
She
like them. I
uses
dig
them
them.
to eat and test
That'd
the
be awesome.
temperature of
You
water.
could put like a spoon in there and like just it's like an elephant trunk, you know. Um, yeah, no, I'm glad everybody seems to be loving it. Like that's great. That's awesome. I'm
It
not
was
there, but
great.
uh
It was great.
I really hope like these next 3 episodes are back to where I was loving it and really get me back in. But yeah, the things I love about Star Wars is like not what this episode was. And I want to see lightsaber battles, and we got that, but the rest of the episode I thought was pretty slow, and I was very checked out for a majority of it. Um, I
That's
think it's
too bad for
probably
you.
partly because I don't have that relationship with these characters, so I don't like these characters don't mean anything to me. So that's partly it. Like I don't give a fuck about Jason. Like it's just some kid, whatever. But I
I
assume
mean, I
that
don't have a lot of attachment to Jason either. Really, he was only around for the last episode of Rebels, but
I assume they're building towards that, you know, Jedi training
yeah,
montage of some sort. Probably
yeah.
second season or whatever is, you know, he fucks off with Ahsoka or whatever, or Sabine or whoever's going to train him, and that's you know them rebuilding the Jedi Temple in some way or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know where they go with that, and then it'd be interesting to see how this show like ends into that like whatever movie or whatever they're going to do to tie these all together. Like I'm very interested to see like what the conclusion of all this is because I would assume would build towards the next trilogy of movies that are taking place after episode 9. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I hope they have that like plan. Like I hope this is all part of a bigger plan and it's not just like, hey, we're throwing darts at a board again and whatever happens kind of thing. Like I hope this is all
I'm
building
guessing it
towards,
probably isn't. I'm guessing it'll all kind of come to fruition, and they'll put the problem at bay, like down.
yeah.
I think like Thrawn will get out of this season and will be the big overarching bad guy for the rest of the Mando Ahsoka stuff probably, and that will be like the main bad guy as we get
That'd be
into
awesome.
that final like movie or whatever.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
That'd be my guess. Excuse me. But yeah, that would be what I would imagine is probably going to happen. So,
Yeah,
but
and
yeah,
then
that'll be good because if they can spend some time developing Thrawn in
totally.
live action too, like I think that's a good thing. So
Totally. I
yeah,
I hope so. I hope it's not following the
me
Marvel
too.
timeline of like, hey, we found Thrawn. Hey, we killed Thrawn. End of the
Yeah,
season.
I hope that's not the case. I don't
Um,
want to waste Thrawn.
and don't waste what's her face either. The Dark Jedi there,
Yeah,
whatever her fucking name is. I can't remember now. But
Shannon,
Shannon, I think
Shannon,
Shin.
Shin, and
Uh,
Balin.
yeah. I hope they don't waste her either. Like build her into a cool enemy.
Me too.
Have her come back in season 2. You know.
That'd be sweet.
Uh,
I'd be on board with that. I don't
yeah.
want her to go because I like her too.
The thing is too is like I know they had I think what 3 different trilogies planned or 3 different like things that they wanted to move into. So um I assume that they want to conclude all this before that starts happening too. Like if they're going to start
Oh
doing
yeah,
like, multiple trilogies and stuff. So
yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
think so.
like this ending over the next year or two and then them like concluding it and actually like, okay, we're not on Mandalorian season 7 now. Like,
Yep.
finish the story, get it all done with, and then move into the movies again and have a new, trilogy. Or I don't know how they're doing that, or if they're going to do one trilogy at a time, or if they're going to do like episode 1 of each and then episode 2 of each, or who knows.
Yeah, that would be confusing. I feel like they'll probably do it all in a row, but maybe.
I don't know, because then we're waiting until like 2040.
Yeah, but ready to
for the
tell
third
one
trilogy.
cohesive story over 6 years than to tell 3 cohesive stories over like 15.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's the same either way, unless you have like 3 different movies shooting it at once, and then you can release them back to back to back to back instead of 2
Yeah,
years
I don't
apart,
see
2
them
years
doing
apart,
that.
2 years apart, 2 years apart. Like, to release 12 or 9 movies in 18 years. All right, well, I'll be dead by the time the third fucking movie comes out.
Yeah, I think what's one thing that we will see with the strike is I think we'll see everything in Hollywood slow down a bit. Like, I think, if I think one thing they'll get from all of this is that they don't need to put out like a new sequel like a year after something comes out, wait for 2, 3, 4 years even.
Well, you're already seeing some people cross the picket lines, like Bill Maher, who does Real Time with Bill Maher on fucking, I can't even think of the channel right now because I'm fucking exhausted, but whatever, it's like a political show, but he just announced that he's coming back without writers because he's like, too much of my staff is basically like gonna become bankrupt if I don't come back. So he's like, I'm not doing monologues, I'm not doing anything written, like it'll just be interviewing guests, but like the rest of my team need to come back to work. Like I can't wait 6 months before we're ready. So I think you're going to start seeing that kind of thing of like, I don't know about like necessarily like late night talk shows and stuff because they are very dependent on the writers.
Yeah,
but I could totally see them doing like getting some of them back and doing like a live podcast type thing. Like I know they have their podcast right now, Late Night People.
Oh, do they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called right now, but it's the main 4, I think. Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, Kimmel, and what's the CBS one? I can't think of his name. Whatever, it's not important. But they apparently have a podcast that they're putting out like every couple weeks or something. But I could totally see them doing something like that, like getting like a celebrity and doing like a podcast type deal, like live on television. If this is going to go on for another 6 months,
yeah.
But I also like, who knows? I mean, the thing I think of too is like these productions getting back into like going again and getting everybody there again and getting all these actors there again. Like you're going to start seeing like massive issues with like this actor was signed on to do this movie at this time. And now he's got scheduling conflicts because he's supposed to finish like whatever, like say Ryan Reynolds. He was supposed to be already done Deadpool 3 and already had signed up for movie X
to do another thing.
And now he's tied to that movie, and like, how does that work? And what does he do? And like that kind of stuff where like you're going to start seeing massive problems in that way of scheduling.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's just going to push things back further and further and further. And, who knows, but from what it sounds like is it's going to last because they're apparently nowhere near,
Yeah, I heard they're going back to conversations next week is what I heard.
I heard they're starting at square one next week. Is like, they're basically like, we have to talk, but like, we're not anywhere close to a resolution.
Crazy.
And I also, I mean, I wanted to talk about this too before we get out of here, but a lot of rumors about Apple buying Disney.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I sent Matt a text, but I was listening to Bill Simmons' podcast, and he had Nick Khan from the WWE, who's I think the CEO. They just merged with UFC, and like he was on to talk about that, and Bill had kind of asked him something along the lines of like, how UFC and WWE are going to work together, and like they could have like, these like crazy mega weekends of like Saturday nights a UFC event, Sunday nights a wrestling event, and have like Raw and SmackDown on either side of that, right? So like you're in one city, and let's say you're in Las Vegas, you got SmackDown on Friday, you got a UFC event Saturday, you got a pay-per-view event for the wrestling on Sunday, you have Raw on Monday, all at the same thing, and like
Yeah.
you could really like work together in that way. But he was also saying about TV rights and how like you know, once both of their rights are up, like where do they go to the same
Where do
place?
they go? Yeah.
Where how do they do this? Like, do they go to a streaming service? What exactly is going on? And so he was talking about their ties with ESPN and Fox right now, and then like, you know, where he sees Disney and all, you know, what does Disney do with ESPN, because ESPN's been in some turmoil. And he was saying basically that they've been hearing rumblings that Apple is behind the scenes. It's not like a secret, like they weren't revealing anything, that this is pretty well known amongst like CEOs in Hollywood and stuff like that Apple is in talks with Disney. Whether that comes to fruition or not, who knows, but that basically they're hearing that Apple wants to buy Disney, or Disney wants to sell to Apple, one or the other. And that's why Bob Iger came back, was to basically finalize a deal to put Disney in a place where they're succeeding and he can step away and he doesn't need to be involved and go back to retirement. And kind of what Vince McMahon did with WWE is,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So
he knows the business, and it was most successful under him, right? So
totally. So I think that'd be a very interesting turn of events. Like that'd be probably one of the biggest mergers in history. Like the Microsoft Blizzard Activision deal that just basically went through. I think that was, I can't remember exactly what the cost was, but I want to say it was like $75 billion or something like that. I think that this would probably be bigger than that. I don't know, but like,
yeah, I think it probably would too.
Disney, you know, owning Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, having all the theme parks, having ABC, having ESPN, and that all falling under Apple. Like what they do with Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus, then I assume that would merge into something. Like how you theme that under Apple's ownership. Like I don't know, but it's just it would open up such an interesting time where things start merging and you start seeing less and less battling between streaming services and just, you know, one service to rule them all kind of thing. But
that would be crazy. I mean, I'd love to pay for one less streaming service, but
same. I think it's inevitable, but you also have like the problems with like monopolies and stuff like that. Like you're going to see the FCC get involved of like these two mega corporations merging, as you know, any kind of deal like that. Law is going to step in and be like, hey, this could be a monopoly. This could be a monopoly. You can't own that. You got to separate that out.
That. Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
It'd be interesting. I still think it's going to happen. I mean, maybe it's not Apple, maybe Amazon or something like that steps in, but they talked about that on the podcast. Like they don't really see Amazon as that type of business, like that they want to own, you know, film and everything like that as well. Like Amazon's streaming service, in my opinion, and in their opinion, is like probably the weakest of the streaming services. Like they don't have a huge
amount of original
content. Maybe that's what they need and that's what they want, and that's why they buy Disney, is to have that. But like to me, they make their money off of Prime Delivery and Amazon.com. Like they don't make their money.
I always say Amazon's one of those ones that does a bunch of stuff okay. They're not like they don't do the best at everything, but it's like their music streaming, it's okay. Their video, it's okay. You know, it's like their ebooks, it's okay, but it's just like they're not, you know, it's not Audible, it's not Spotify, it's not Netflix.
But I love Prime Delivery, and like that's why I subscribed. Is like if
they
separated that out,
me too.
I would never pay for it.
Me neither. No, like, but I get it for free, so that's why I have it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I don't get it for free. I get it because I'm a Prime member.
Same. But like if they separated Prime Delivery and Amazon Prime Video as like two separate entities, like I think Prime Video would fold immediately. I think everybody would be pulled.
I agree.
The only show I watch
unless they put more onto it. So
like I think that Lord of the Rings show was considered pretty big failure for how much it cost. I know they're doing Wheel in Time, I think, is another big like book series that they're adapting. I think that's been looked at as pretty mediocre, if not bad. So like I don't really think they have like I think the Lord of the Rings show cost them like
big dollars.
Yeah, like $1 trillion or something insane. Like it was massive. And I don't know, maybe I'm in the like minority, but like I didn't hear a lot of word of mouth about that show. Like I didn't hear like, oh man, you got to go check out that. It's awesome.
I
Like
heard a lot of like mixed.
yeah,
And I
that's all
heard a
I
lot
heard
of
too.
people complaining, but I heard a lot of people complaining about like dumb reasons, like there's a black person in it. It's like
No, fuck
they're
off,
like,
man.
there's no such thing as black people in that world. I'm like, the one where fucking elves exist and fairies? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why is a black
Yeah.
person
The orc is
being there
okay,
so
but the
weird?
black person is weird.
Yeah. We can have fairies and orcs, but it's weird when a black person's there. I don't get it, but
These
that's
people,
okay.
man. I need to move into the mountains and just leave humanity. Oh, God.
Become an orc.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'll become an orc and only have black orc friends. Yeah, I don't get it, but I don't know. I'm interested in what happens with all this, and like I hope the strike ends sometime soon. But
Me too.
I don't know, man. I
Looking
have a
good,
feeling
though.
it's going to be like February or something like that, and
Me too.
2024 is just going to be a wash.
Yep.
Because they're going to break for the
definitely agree.
holidays. So if
Yep,
this
for
isn't sorted
sure.
out by November, they're going to be like,
Oh,
well, we'll
yeah.
figure it out in
We'll
January.
pick it up next year. Yeah.
Like, there's no way all these like rich CEOs and actors and writers and all this shit are going to be fucking out there on Thanksgiving and during Christmas fucking
Nope. They're not even doing it
negotiating.
when there's no holidays. Why would they do it when it is?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think if this isn't figured out in the next like 6 weeks, you're going to see fucking it be pushed to January or February.
Yep. I definitely agree.
We'll see, I guess. I mean, who knows? Time will tell. And we might be in a very different media world in
next year. Yeah. Yep.
But I think you are right. Like, I think you're going to see less content overall. I think they're realizing that they can't be spending $200 million on every movie and $500 million on these television shows. And like, I think you're going to see them like, hey, we're not making that money back anymore. These costs all have to come down.
Yeah.
But
no more CGI for Marvel movies. The next She-Hulk is just going to be someone spray painted green.
Just get Lou Ferrigno back, spray painted green.
Bring back Lou.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I think like CG will obviously already be there, but like I think they're just gonna have to find ways to make the budgets much lower, and that may mean less CGI, but I think that also will mean finding other actors who are not making $30-40 million a picture and getting people that are like young and not knowing and saying like making it more of like an indie type film of like, hey, here's like 12 actors you don't know, and away we go. You know, or one big actor and then
people that you've never heard of.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm fine with that. I think in certain ways it's better for new characters that like you don't have an attachment to that actor and don't see them as
agree with that.
Somebody else, like especially for X-Men. Like if you know, like all of a sudden they get Tom Cruise as like Professor X, or like obviously that's a bad casting, but I'm just thinking of like a big actor. Like, yeah, exactly. Like it would be like, what? I don't see Professor X here. I see Tom Cruise. Like,
you can't really look past it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the good thing about doing it that way too is it gives more people an opportunity to like break it, like, you know, make it into like a big time, right?
Totally. I think that's good for everybody.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially when we get out of this, I think there's probably going to be a lot of actors who, you know, decide that with this whole strike thing that maybe now's the time to hang up the boots and step away too, right? You might get a lot of those veteran actors who are like, you know what, now's the time to retire. And
but you're seeing like,
right?
Seeing a movement too within like video games and stuff that more people want to unionize because of what's happening with the actors and writers. And so I think you're going to see a lot more people, like you're seeing that right now with the big three in automotive. Like they're all on strike in the States. Like they're all fighting for worker rights and more money, and they're sick of all these corporations making billions and billions of dollars in profit and paying their employees nothing. And I think a lot of people have had enough. Like I think COVID and inflation and all that stuff is all pushed into this where they're like, you know, you guys all made bank during COVID and
we got shit.
We got nothing. We're all struggling. So
let's even look at like did you see that whole thing with the Spider-Verse? Into the last Spider-Verse movie, like they said they worked them so hard that, like, you know, at the end of the Spider-Verse movie, it's like we'll be back next year with the continuation. But then they like interviewed people who were like doing a lot of the graphic design and like the special effects and stuff for it.
Yep.
And they're like, we haven't even started that movie because they've made us do so much on this movie that like it pulled all our resources.
Right. You see that in video games a lot with like crunch. Both those documentaries I just watched talk a lot about crunch, and the most recent one I watched was from I think 2014 2015 area, and then the first one I watched was from like present day. Basically, it came out earlier this year, and just the difference in those two docs about crunch and everything like that like has changed a lot, where there was way more crunch in the past where these people were like for the last 6 months of a project, they were in the office 12 hours
Like
a day, 16 hours a day working
every
on
single day.
finishing things. And like
Yeah.
the doc I just watched, one of their main people, she got super sick because she was at work 16 hours a day, and then all of a sudden she was like, I'm out of the office for a week because I have the fucking flu, because I'm not sleeping, I'm not taking care of myself. You're seeing that shift a lot in the video game industry of people saying like, we're not fucking crunching on this anymore. And I see both arguments in a way. Like
Me too.
I think there's a certain level of like artistry and stuff like that where like you want to get something done and you want it excuse me, you want to get it perfect. And when is a piece of art done? And that argument of like, if I had 3 more hours, I could have got this to a spot where like I'm happy with it. And staying in the office 3 more hours so that I'm happy with my work is one thing. But I think if it's going on for 5-6 months, you're working long days, 5-6 days a week
all the
it's too
time,
much.
nonstop. It's the only thing right?
Yeah. And so like all these like artists and VFX and all that stuff, like they need to be taken care of financially. If they're going to be in the office for 6 months, 16-hour days, then make sure they're getting paid accordingly. Don't work for free,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So I think
it'll be crazy to see what happens.
Strike's going to handle a lot. I hope they're all taken care of, and I hope they're getting what's rightfully theirs. But
yeah, me too.
But yeah, that's the end of this week's episode. I guess we went on a little rant there for the last 10 minutes, but I appreciate everybody checking us out. Next week, obviously, we'll be talking about Ahsoka episode 6, and whatever else we get up to this week. Who knows? But yeah, if you're not already following us, follow us on YouTube and Instagram.
I can do it.
All right. Moose Milk Media, Customs by Matthew. We're both have our own YouTube channels, and we both are available on Instagram to follow all our shenanigans. Matt will be posting studio updates there, so you can check it out. And yeah, you can get the podcast on any podcast service you use, and we appreciate you all, and we will see you next Saturday.
Say good night, Kevin.
Good night, Kevin.
Good night, Kevin.